Hello, 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 hello. I see Pam is here. She is the first one in the chat. Pam, how's everything going? Oh, gotta mute that. All right, so audio is good, video is working. Awesome. I look like a hot mess tonight. I just got done changing water on 40 aquariums and feeding all 40 aquariums. And there's only one tank left that I need to finish after this live stream, and that's my axolotl tank. And I haven't done any videos on that. I don't know. I feel like I mentioned that I got a couple axolotls from the Ohio Fish Rescue probably like a month ago. And there's like a teaser video coming out on Sunday. And then I'm doing a whole video later on of the axolotls and their tank setup. And a couple cool things with them, how they're actually really easy to take care of and maintain. Doing research on them, I found that a lot of people feed like night crawlers and stuff like that. I actually have these two axolotls eating ONIP, Sarah ONIP tabs, and that's the teaser video coming out on Sunday. So check that out. All my videos release at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So usually when you wake up or you get to take a lunch break, there's a video out. William's here. What's up, buddy? So yeah, axolotls, they're pretty easy, and they're cold water, so I have no heater in the tank. They're just room temp, and they're in my family room. And I'm like cold water myself. I like my house cooler. The warmest my house gets is 68, and I actually have the heater in my bedroom, like the vents turned off, so it actually gets colder in my bedroom. I just sleep way better when it's colder. So tonight, this is normally, once again, this is my second week in a row of doing the 7 p.m. Normally, this is Ohio Fish Rescue, and I want to take a moment to talk about Ohio Fish Rescue with all of the obstacles that they are facing recently. Most of everybody's heard that the Ohio Fish Rescue channel got hacked. It's been a few weeks, and they have no longer been able to upload videos or go live. They were able to lock out the hacker, but they don't have control of their channel to where they can post videos. So I'm hoping that they can get that sorted out. If anybody has a hookup at Google or YouTube and can lead them in the right path, I'm sure they would appreciate any information you can give them. But the main thing I want to talk about is Tracy. I know everybody has probably heard. If you haven't heard, she had, I don't know the technical thing, like what actually happened, but basically her heart stopped and she stopped breathing, and she's in the hospital basically in a coma. From what I heard today is she's still in the coma, but she's getting some like responsiveness back. There's like brain activity, and we're all just hoping that Tracy can pull through this. And because I know Big Rich and Josh and family need her a lot. She's the glue that holds everybody together. So Tracy, I hope you come out of this coma and we can get you back with your koi and everything and taking care of everybody there. With that being said, I talked to Joe about possibly going up to Ohio Fish Rescue on Sunday to try to help out with feeding fish, cleaning aquariums, whatever I can do. And I believe he talked to Big Rich, and Big Rich said that was okay. Today is Josh's birthday, so happy birthday, Josh. Hopefully I'll get to see you on Sunday. And in case anybody doesn't know, I'm a moderator for Ohio Fish Rescue. So I want to try to help out in any way I can. I know Big Rich is by Tracy's side, and I can only imagine if it was me in that situation, having all these tanks here, it would be helpful, I would think, to have somebody help maintain them, because you know, the fish are still there and they still need help. So I'm going to try to go up Sunday morning. Normally my dogs, which everybody knows, whenever I go out of town, they go to my parents' house. My parents are currently in Florida. They have a house here and a house in Florida. They have been down in Florida for the winter. So I don't have anybody to watch the dogs. So I'm going to let the dogs out early in the morning, drive the 2 hours up to Ohio Fish Rescue, and hang out there as long as possible, and then drive back to let the dogs back out in the evening. Let's see. Sean's here. The inspector just left here about 20 minutes ago and looks like it will be a 10 by 20 by 8 fish shed. I have no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about, Sean? So Sunday I'm going to try to make it to Ohio Fish Rescue and help out in any way I can. And I just want to hope everybody can send positive thoughts or prayers to Tracy to help her through this. I'm going to talk about what's new around here. The axolotls, I've had them for a few weeks now. I feel like it's been like a month now. It's probably been a month. Today I got a new light from Nilo Aquatics. It's Nilo CG. That's Colin. Colin makes the Thrive product brand for fertilizers. Been around forever. He's an awesome guy. I have a wholesale account with him. I carry the Thrive and his Enhance on the website. And he's got a new light that just came out, and it's a plant light. And I think it's like $160-ish. It's like 160 or maybe like 170. And it reminds me of a reef light. So it's a big housing. It's probably about like this. And it's got like cooling fans on it. And it's got the control knobs for like dimmers. But it's for freshwater planted tanks, and it's for high-tech tanks. And the reason I say it's for high-tech tanks is that the preliminary testing that has been done on this light is at like 2 feet, it puts out like 300 par. And I want to see if I can find the actual stats, because I feel like I'm a big fan of the Fluval 3.0s. And he actually made a group for us to kind of test it and all that fun stuff. And I don't remember how I get to the group. Let's try and see if it's in my notifications. Of course, I'm not going to find it super easy while I'm live. That seems about right. Anyways, oh, wait, there it is. Got it. Let me see if I can find. Okay, so where is the spec sheet? Par data. That's what I want right there. It's loading. So this light is crazy. And it's got 2 channels, and then you can control each channel separately. One channel is like a certain color range or spectrum, and the other channel is a different one. And then you can basically mix them. And so all I did was unbox it, and I plugged it in. I turned it on. This thing lit up my house like one of those off-road LED light bars, like on a truck or on like a Jeep Wrangler. It's bright. It's 165 watts. Okay, so they have like a graph. I'm using the YouTube Stream app, so I can't share my screen. If I was using my other app, I would be able to. How's my audio? Is it still good? the little icon on the bottom that shows like your audio gain is not working. It's acting like my mic's not working, but I'll just keep talking. So the par at 36 inches from the bottom of the tank. So think of that, 36 inches, 3 feet is the maximum par. And it's got a graph like showing like directly under it, and then like the par as it gets wider because, you know, the light pattern comes out. 210 par at 36 inches. And that's on like and they even show that's channel B. And that's in water. Out of water, it does 270 par. 210 par is insane at 36 inches of depth. So a Fluval 3.0, I think, does like 25 par on a 125, and I forget 125 depth. I think it's like 24 inches maybe. So you're talking massive amount of light. So I wanted to try it, and so I bought one. He was running like $20 off for like an entry level. What am I thinking? Like early bird, like just as he released it. Sean says, I think it's great that you're going to go help them out. Thank you, sir. Oh, I'm building a fish shed like a tool shed, but fish shed, basically detached fish room. Sean, that's awesome. I thought about that myself because I don't have a basement. I wish I really had a basement because it would be a full fish room. My current fish room, I'm looking at getting rid of rack system 1 and 2 and making it like the new rack. That will allow me to put more tanks in it and make everything more uniform. And from there, the only other thing I can do is outdoor ponds or do the same thing, build like an outdoor shed. And there's a company here that makes pre-made sheds, and they basically, you buy it and they come and they drop it and they like level it and all that stuff. And I thought about doing that, and you can insulate the whole building and stuff like that. The only hard part for me is I would have to get power to it, and without like rigging some crazy power stuff up, I probably would need to get the electrical company to do a power drop to it, have its own breaker box. Who else is here? HC Aqua is here. Valley Fish and Recon. What's going on, guys? Sean said that's what he's doing. Okay, cool. So back to this light. So at 30 inches from bottom, 280 par. Now here's where it gets even better. 18 inches from bottom. So I'm guessing that's probably like if you had a 20 long, a 10 gallon. Are they even 18 inches? I don't even think those are 18 inches. Those might be 12 inches. If it's 12 inches from bottom, it puts out 955 par. If anybody knows anything with like plant lights and par, it's insane. So I picked one up, and my original thoughts were to put it above my pond I built. I think that video released, was it today? Am I released today or yesterday? But I built an indoor pond, and I have a shop light above it, and I wanted to use this light, but I think it's going to be too close because that water is only, let's say maybe 6 inches deep right now. So this light at 12 inches does 955 par. It'd be way overkill, but it kind of makes me want to try and see if I pump that thing full of the 614 fertilizer, if you know that much par, if it would grow crazy. Wow, they even have 6. All right, so 6 inches from bottom in water, 1,609 par, directly center. And then as the pattern goes out, the lowest it gets to is 125. I don't know. Okay, it says 13 by 13 light grid, and they list like the par meter they use for testing and all that. It's pretty impressive. So that's new. I'm trying to think what else. Import fish are all doing really well. I do have one tank that looked like maybe one of the guppies had ick, and I wasn't positive, but kind of looked like it. So that tank is going back through the medications. And Zen Ginger wanted me to make the coins I use for the meds. She wanted me to make those available to purchase. So I am going to do that. I'm thinking like do a set for like $1 or $2. I gotta see how much material actually costs to make it, and the time, because it takes, the material's cheap. It's the time that it takes to 3D print everything. I made some other cool stuff as far as 3D print. I think I mentioned it on last week's live stream. I made these clips for the tanks, and I made 2 different versions now. So this was the original design. It like hooks onto the tank and it's snug. And then I made this so it would hook my Fluval light. That's made for rimless tanks, and I wanted it on my 20-gallon long. And I did a redesign. So this is kind of like center. And after like a week, it bowed just a little bit to where you could tell the light wasn't level. So I basically made this upright come out over here, and that allows that bracket to sit on top. And so far, so good. I might sell these. So if anybody, like me, wanted the nice nano light on a non-rimless tank, this is an awesome option. Awesome option. I can't talk. I need my coffee. It's been a long week. But I made another version. So think of this, but this piece, instead of going up, comes off the back, and then it has holes drilled into it. And what that allows you to do, if anybody has the nano air pump, like Aquarium Co-op cells, you can hook it to this, and that hangs it off of your tank. So that way you don't have it hooked onto your rim. It's hanging from that tank, or hanging from, it's hanging off of the tank from this. And that does 2 things. So it keeps it from being latched onto your tank, but also isolates the pump off of your glass. So if you have it hooked onto the tank, that pump's right against your glass. The pump's like silent as can be, but this allows it to hang freely in the air. And then I made it with like 6 different holes. So what that also does, I figure if I'm putting a hole in it, I might as well put more. So you can run air lines through it. So you actually use it as like airline management. So you can hang your pump from it and use it to hold your airline in place, just to make things a little bit, neater and tidy behind your tanks. So I'm thinking about selling those. I don't know if I showed this. I made an overflow box. I know I showed Haley this. So this hooks onto your tank, and it's a skimmer. So it's got these holes that the water skims through. And you just run airline tube up and over, and you just fill this up in your tank water. You set this on, and this makes your tank overflow without having to drill it. And then there's a pipe on the back. Right now, it's oval right now. I was just messing with different like designs. This is going to be round once I redesign it. And then you can run this to a drain. And the reason I'm doing this is none of the import tanks are drilled because I have them against the wall, so I don't have room behind the tanks to drill them and run plumbing. But what this will allow me to do is clip these on the front of the tanks, and then I can run these hoses to the sump to drain off. So I can do auto water top off, have it automatically overflow and out. And this is allowing you to do automatic water changes without drilling tanks. So I need to perfect it. I saw a design online where the guy basically made the overflow internal to the box without the hoses. It's really neat, but it's going to use a lot more material. And with the tube, you can see when you use just airline tubing, you can see if you ever get an air pocket. And with this one, you can run, 2 to 4 air hoses. So I'm planning on using this on the import rack, and I can just hook this on the front of each tank and have a drain hose. We catch up. William said I can test it. It's funny because I've talked to a few people. I showed this to Lucas Bretz. A lot of the stuff I make and tinker with, I usually send him a video or a picture and get his input on it. His input was on the original one I made. The first one I made was like probably like that big. I wanted a really small one because I'm like, man, if you can make it really small, it's not noticeable. And then if you had room at your house and you can put it behind the tank, you would never see it. With me, it's going on the front, but since I'm doing daily water changes on those import tanks, I needed something with more flow. So I want to tinker with this and like perfect the design better, but it's working. I sent a video to Lucas and I think Haley. It actually works. So the first phase of theory testing is complete. Now I just need to package it better. Tiffany White's here. Hello, hello. And I think Tiffany, you sell houses. You're in real estate agent. I hope you sold some houses this week, if that's true. And here's the problem. I got coffee. This is a mug that my aunt made for me. It's got my old logo. This is a red really shrimp I took a picture of, and I was using this as my logo when I first started. And it's backwards. Is it backwards for you guys? I'm assuming so. Anyways, I see Aquatics and the website, and she had this mug made for me. And when we went to Nashville for vacation, she gave it to me. And it's got my initials. But yeah. But so normally I don't do good with. Tiffany says, yes, I'm a realtor in Nashville. Well, just said Nashville, so that's funny. I don't do well with caffeine in the evening. It doesn't make me like wired, but it will keep me awake all night. And I ran out of decaf, so this is full strength. So we'll see what happens later. Big J's is here. Oh, we got 14 people. All right, if any 14 of you are not subscribed, I am 3 away. The last time I checked from 400. So if 3 of you are not subscribed, hit that button. I think everybody that's in here is subscribed anyways. Oh, what is going on over there? I'll probably do a video on that light from Nilo and see how it does. The only thing I don't like is that what they're testing, the lights, I don't want to say it's compact. It's like a big unit. It's just not long. They're showing like on bigger tanks, you need multiple units. And so the problem I have with that is what tanks really need 300 plus par. They're going to be small. And I mean, it's going to be awesome to grow carpets. That's the first thing I thought of is, holy crap, it's going to grow an amazing carpet. You know, maybe like S Repens. And get messages, go away. But with like a bigger tank, so if you have like a 75, they're saying you're going to need like 2 or 3 of them. Well, at $160 a piece, why not just get one 4-foot Fluval 3.0? I think it's $100 or $210 retail pricing. So these lights will get expensive, but if you have like one tank that you want to do a really high-tech setup, this is going to be the light for that. But what's cool is it comes with brackets to mount it on the tank, but it also came with hanging cables, so you can hang it from like the ceiling. The cables only allow you to hang it maybe a foot, but you could always attach a cable from there up. But I thought it was cool that it came with both options. But it looks like a pretty decent unit. We'll see if it holds up in my fish room, because I'm not easy on anything, and I like to tinker. So we'll see if it holds up. Did you guys get the mud skippers, Mr. Zen? What kind of mud skippers? All right, let me think what else I can talk about. It's just been busy. It's been real busy. I sold a bunch of shrimp. Oh, shoot. That's what I need to talk about. So I was supposed to make a video about Easter eggs on the website. And what I mean is, once a month, I had planned on doing an Easter egg, like surprise type product, unlisted. Like you would have to like just be looking through the website and buying stuff and find it. And it was supposed to be like something like crazy reduced priced. Shipping is for live fish and everything is set like 25 bucks flat rate. No matter how many you buy, if it takes 2 boxes, it's just 25 bucks. Includes heat packs, styrofoam liner, all that stuff. It's just 25 bucks. Well, I did an Easter egg for February, and it was 10 neon tetras for $2.50, I think, with flat rate $10 shipping. And I was going to do a video about like Easter eggs and like see who was going to find it. And somebody found it before I could even do a video. I got the order, I think it was maybe Sunday. They ordered 20 neon tetras for $5 and paid $10 shipping. So they got 20 neon tetras for $15 shipped. And it cost me more than that just to ship them. So everybody has an idea of what kind of deal this person got. And I don't think they'll mind me telling them who it is. It was Chuck. And what was funny is I saw the name in the address, and it was Warren, Ohio, which is like up north. And what made me think about it for a minute was I met a guy named Chuck, and Warren, Ohio is also Flip Aquatics. And it turns out it was a guy I met at Flip Aquatics. He ended up sending me an email saying, like, hey, like the neons showed up. They look great. Thanks. And I wrote on there, like, congratulations, you found the first Easter egg. And he was like, what's the Easter egg? I mean, I told him, like, you know, I was going to do this, like, crazy reduced price deal. And he's like, yeah, I thought it sounded really, it was really cheap for the neons. $5 for 20 neon tetras. Like, that's a steal. And it was only $10 shipping. Normally it's 25. And I overnighted the fish to him. So technically I lost a ton of money, but I know like Dan's Fish does like free giveaways. I don't want to, I'm not able to do like free fish giveaways because I can't eat all that cost yet. So I thought at least I would do something fun to where I'm not losing a ton of money. Like I did lose quite a bit of money on that deal. I mean, like I say, it costs more to ship it than what actually came into my account, but it was fun. And he found it, and he's like, hey, I should have ordered more. And I limited it to 30 tetras because above that, like if somebody would have bought like 4 and then I would pay the shipping and then somebody else bought 4, what I allowed him to order up to 30. But once that order is hit, and then I take them off, and then they're back up to regular pricing. But I kind of want to do that once a month, and I think that would help keep people engaged with the website. Constantly like adding more stuff. I just added aquarium salt. Yesterday, you can get like a pound bag of it if you need to do any kind of aquarium salt for like parasites and stuff like that. HC Aqua, I sent them graceful mud skippers. William Jensen says there should have 400 now. Do you have like 3 different accounts? Because if so, thank you. I don't even want to like leave this, because with my luck, something would crash. 400 subs. So yes, thank you so much, William Jansen. I hope I said that right. Looks like Jansen. I switched to each family member. Awesome. If everybody has a family member and they want to switch over and sub, that'd be sweet. And I was thinking about that. My brother-in-law, I mentioned before, has a business degree and in entrepreneurship. He did like I don't even know what it's called when you have like two parts of a degree. Well, anyways, he's been helping me with like some business stuff and like giving me ideas of like marketing and stuff like that. And I'm trying to get the sub count up. And the thing I was thinking about is my one video. I have a video about growing brine shrimp. It's got like over 6,000 views, which for me is a ton. Normally my videos hit like 100 and that's it. It's got like over 6,000. It's like the most popular video, and it's growing like every month. It gets more and more, like with the stat that shows like the percentage of your video views, and that video is like taking off, right? So over 6,000 people watched it, and I'm at like 400 subs. I'm like, man, if all those people would just hit sub, even if they don't hit the notification bell, so they'll never know if I upload a video, just having 6,000 subs would help the YouTube algorithm like boost me. But I should have like edited that video and be like, hit sub before you watch this, but I didn't. Chewy said, this is bad. I'm like number 14. I don't even know who my first subs were. I think it's been like a year now. Actually, it's been less than a year. I think. Right around a year. Chewy says Australia is very hard to get anything out of. Wait, hang on. I gotta go back up. I found out a little bit. Chewy said, I found out a little bit of information about the trading for honey blue eyes at PAM, which basically is a trade between governments and the availability of extra stock. Reels Tank says, cheers and congrats on 400. Thank you, sir. Mr. B is here. Hello, Mr. B. Mr. Brandon. Mr. B, I did the scheduled live stream thing that you were saying. I meant to text you, and I was still busy doing water changes. I'm still shipping twice a day, so got off work at 5, came home, wrapped up orders, got them out to the post office, because if I can get there by 6, they still ship out the same night. So I'm usually there on my lunch break and then at 6 o'clock. So as soon as I got home from 6, I did all the water changes and fed everybody. The only thing I have left after this is I need to medicate one tank and finish filling up the axolotl tank. What are these snails you're talking about, Sean? I gotta actually search this. I don't know what those are. Oh, this is bright. It's a species of freshwater snail with a gill. Is that for Let me get back to the chat. Is that for like doing Shelly's or something? Or you actually want the snail? Okay, yeah, it's snails that when they die are the shells that shell dwellers live in. I don't think I've seen that. I have let me look at my wholesaler. I don't think I saw that on their list though. But it would be pretty sweet. You want the live snails? Do you want the live snails to die so you can get the shells, or do you actually want to try to keep them alive? Where is this week's list? So every week the wholesalers will email you what fish are available. The same thing with plants. I just had to import plants come in this week. I think I did a video on that too, which maybe that's the video that comes out Sunday. I think the plant video comes out Sunday, and then the axolotl preview comes out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Every 3 days there's a video. All right, let's see what's on the transship list. I know there's snails, but I'm almost positive I haven't seen that name. Yeah, it's all the transship list. It's all your standard stuff: assassins, black neorites, chopsticks, Japanese trapdoors, tiger and zebra neorites, zebra thorn tricolors. Let me go to what's in their warehouse. So I've been thinking about doing a transship order that requires like buying very big numbers, 200 plus. But they got some stuff on transship that they don't have in their warehouse that they normally stock for the wholesale. Chuck actually asked me about bloodfin tetras, and they don't wholesale them, but they have them on the transship. So I think I'm gonna order in a couple hundred of those. So that's another thing. If anybody is looking for specific fish, I can special order them, whether or not it's on the wholesale list or transship. But I don't ask you. I'm asking not to blow up my email with like asking for prices for like 50 different fish. Like if you're serious about getting a specific fish, you can email like sales@614fish.com and give me the common name or scientific name, and I can look up pricing and if it's available. And then I can give you a price and tell me how many you want. Like if you only want like 5, it's probably not going to work out. You would probably need to get like at least 10 to 20. Because if I got ordering 200 fish for somebody that wants 5, it's probably not in my best interest to do that. But I'm willing to do special orders. Okay, I'm in the wholesale list. I'm trying to find that snail for you. Okay, you want to breed them. Sean, where do you live? Are you in Canada? I saw something about Canada. William Jansen says 403 subs. Wonder what happened. Guess there were some gaming accounts too. I like it, man. Appreciate it. Oh, you're in Kentucky. All right, so I'm in Ohio, so you're right by me. Snails. Assassin, Inca Gold, Japanese Trapdoor, Yellow Rabbit, Mystery. Well, they got a lot of mystery snails. Yeah, they don't have it. I mean, do you think they would put it under African? Do you know what lake they're from? Is it like Tanganyika or Malawi? Okay. Let me go. I mean, I don't think they would list it under the lake, but you never know. Can I? Yes. Control F. Find. No, they don't have it. Well, that's just one wholesaler. I'll check the other two that I have. They're usually more expensive, so I don't use them. But I will gladly check them out for you. While this post is old, I found a post. It's from 2009. Saying it's the most sought after freshwater snail in the world, and it's rare to begin with, so that might be why it's not on the wholesale list. But yeah, I mean, if you find somebody that breeds them, let me know. Maybe I can help out, and we can try to get you some to get them out into the hobby. Tracy said, Tiffany said, was there an update about Tracy? So the last I've heard is that she just got some brain activity, and she's like, I don't want to say responding to stuff, but like she's moving like her hands, I guess, which is a good sign that she's got brain activity. She's still in a coma, so I'm hoping she'll pull through and get back to her koi here soon. Okay, let me catch up on the chat. Pam said, I think the only way to find them would be find someone who's breeding them in the States. Pam says she heard that there's someone in Canada that has them. See, unfortunately, I don't think you can even like sneak in like snails through the mail. Like I've heard of people like shipping like fish supplies through the mail. Like I know like when I get wholesale like catappa leaves, it's just listed on the custom forms as water treatment. And I don't know, that's how they get through the custom so quickly. Because I think there's a thing about like shipping plants and stuff like that through customs. It still has to go through customs. Like they have an inspector, but I think they list it as like water treatment, so it blasts through customs quickly. Chewy said basically is who has got the pull to import them and that has got CITES agreement is the same with the Asian arowana. And that species is not being bred in any of the fish farms too. Chewy also says, like Canada does not sell killer whales through the CITES trade agreement. Most of the killer whales that are used in public aquariums come out of Russia. Snails are tough to import because a lot of the African snails are invasive. Sean said he managed to follow an order that was imported to Sweden from Africa. Then it went to Finland, sold to Canada, but then lost track of them after that. Tiffany says, sounds like improvements. Yes. Tracy, as small of an improvement as that is, it's an improvement. And I don't think you were here. I'm going to try to go up to Ohio Fish Rescue on Sunday to help out in any way I can, because I know Big Rich is at the hospital with Tracy, so Josh is at the house, managing all that. So I'm going to try to go up Sunday to help out in any way I can if they need, fish fed or like water changed or tanks cleaned. I'm going to be up there just to support it any way I can. I think Matt from Matt's Monster Fish might be going. I talked to him earlier in the week. He said he might, if he can get, I'm assuming somebody to watch his son. He might go up Saturday night, stay the night, and come back Sunday evening. Pam says, haven't you heard of snail mail? Sean said, at Chewy, yeah, most of the importers I've talked to act like they are giant African snails. Other collectors said they don't get out of the boats. Chewy says, CITES is a international agreement between governments aimed to ensure that international trade in move my mouse and specimens of wild animals and plants do not threaten their survival. Tiffany says, that's nice of you. I bet that they have a lot of day-to-day needs for the fish. So I mean, obviously they have to feed all the tanks. I'm assuming as far as feeding, it's probably, if I had to guess based off like my fish room, most of their work's probably in preparing the food, because they can probably just toss it into the tanks, but I know they have to like cut up all the fish and tilapia and whatever else they're using to feed. So I bet all the time's in that. So that's something I can help Josh with, or whatever else they need help with. Chewy says CITES has licensed several Asian arowana farms, but the U.S. is slow on it because it has to go state to state. So I was watching KG Tropical stream with Jimmy Schwisky, and they were talking about cameras and lighting and all that stuff. And I'm a very bad impulse buyer. And so I was looking up, like, he was talking about these cameras and these lights, and I was really close to buying a new camera, but I'm like, I need to hold off on that and focus my money elsewhere. Because I was originally looking at the M50 like a few weeks ago, and then he mentioned the M50 was like a decent camera. And so I was like, oh, like I found one on eBay that was selling for a good price. So I almost bought it. But Chewy says CITES is how the pupfish and the Victorian lake cichlids are in the hobby. The CITES rep from the USA is a member of the Boston Aquarium Society. That's cool. Very cool. So speaking of like aquarium societies and stuff, I just joined the Cares Fish Facebook group this week. My goal is for 2020 is to do something for the hobby. Like I'm trying to do my part for the hobby with the business of trying to provide like high quality products at like a great price. But I want to do that's like one of those gray areas. Like I'm trying to do that, but I'm also trying to make money from it. I want to do something specific for the hobby, and I want to get into Cares fish this year. And they have a whole list. If you haven't been to their website, let me pull up the correct. It's caresforfish.org, and they have a large list. And unfortunately, this list is growing like every year. It's getting bigger and bigger, and they have like rice fishes on there, killifishes. There's like a ton of them. Goby, split fins, tooth carps, live bears, and the list goes on and on. And I want to try. I want to start easy. I want to be kind of foolproof. I'm going to try to do some research. You have to be like accepted into their Facebook group, and they accepted me, and I'm going to try to go through and digest all the information I can. I want to try to start off with like an easier fish to breed, quote unquote, to get my feet wet, and go from there. So I need to do research on finding what's an easy fish to breed that's on that list. Breed it, submit it to BAP in the club, and that way, like, getting BAP points, and also spread it out into the club, and hopefully other people will breed it and spread it out and let because there's a lot of fish that are on the list that are extinct in the wild, which means that they're only found in the aquarium hobby, like in zoos and stuff like that. So axolotls, in case you didn't know, are I think critically endangered. There was a list. Let me pull it up real quick. It's listed as critically endangered. So, and then that's what kind of got me on the Cares, because I was doing research on the axolotls, and once I saw it was like critically endangered, it really made me like think for a minute. Like, I have these 2 axolotls in my family room that are critically endangered, and it really like made me stop to think about that. And I kind of was like, you know what, I need to look into Cares, and I really want to get into trying to do my part with getting Cares fish, breeding them, and then spreading them out through the hobby. So if anybody is into Cares or knows or can go on their list, it's caresforfish.org. If you can go through that list and maybe see a fish that some information about, and want to give me some ideas of a starting point on something that's maybe a little bit on the easier end to breed. I'm assuming probably a live bear. But yeah, so that's what I want to do this year, is get into Cares fish, and that's came about from the axolotls. And GRB is here. I don't know if you've been here for a while, and I just now saw you. So GRB kept Lake Victorian cichlids 30 years ago. GRB, you are showing your age. Don't do that. 'Cause you just turned, what, 21 the other week? But it's good seeing you, bud. Sean said he emailed back and forth a few times about exotic import license and no luck, because they treat all snails the same. Let me catch up on the chat. So Sean's got some fish. I wish you could like search. Oh wait, maybe you can. Or maybe I can't. Is the tequila a split fin? I don't know what that is, so educate me. But you're sending some to Ginger and Amber once she is done moving. That's awesome. Select Pet is here. Don't know what you're talking about. Just got here, but sounds cool. Currently talking about Cares fish and trying to get into getting some. Oh, so Select Pet says Cares is awesome. I have 6 species. That's awesome. Susan's here. Hey, Susan, how are you doing? If anybody has Cares fish and they're successfully breeding them and wants to sell me a set or send me a set, I'll pay for shipping or pay you for the fish. Send me a message and maybe we can work something out. Don is here. Hey, Don, how's it going? Slug Pet says there's a number of swordtails and Somalis. Goodeids are fun. I was actually looking at doing Goodeids. And there's some easy cichlids. So I've had cichlids. I'm just not like a big cichlid fan. And I feel like trying to sell fish online, I should be a cichlid fan because they seem to be popular. But a lot of the comments I got on the import series of videos I released were people talking about finding local, not local to me, but like local to the country, so U.S. breeders and farms, and most of them are cichlid oriented. I reached out to, oh my gosh, the name's escaping me. Charles, what's his company's name? Why can't I think of Charles's company? I know his name. Goliad Farms. Reach out to them, got their wholesale fish list, but it's all cichlids, and I don't really want to bring on a bunch of cichlids right now, and I feel like I need to be a little bit more specialized to do that. I'm not very versed into cichlids. Chewy, yes. Yep, that's him. So I reached out to him, and then there's a couple other people I want to look into down in Florida, and there's one in Texas. I think Goliad's in Texas, but yeah. So people were talking about trying to find U.S. farms, and I have, and I've talked to them, but they're mainly cichlids, and I'm not trying to do a bunch of cichlids right now. Friend request, sure. So yeah, so right now it's all wholesale, and I reached out to, and this was like a year ago. I reached out to Seagrass Farms because I know they do a lot of fish, but they won't sell to me because I'm e-commerce. I don't have a storefront. Select Pet says, I should know this, but where do you live? Do you have a local club? Yes, I'm in Columbus, Ohio. Our local club is called Cafe. It's the Columbus Area Fish Enthusiasts. If anybody's in Ohio, I will do a shout out to Lucas Bretz. I don't have my phone on me. Okay. Well, he is coming to do a talk, and I went to Cincinnati's got an awesome fish club as well. And he did a aquarium talk down there. Anyways, Lucas is coming to our club, and I've already seen us talk about. I mean, I'll go. Me and him are friends, so I will go support him. I was trying to find the date. It's in my phone. Of course, I don't have my phone with me. Let's see if it's on. February 28th. So if anybody's in Central Ohio and you want to see Lucas Bretz, he'll be at the club meeting February 28th. It's a Friday. It's at 7:30. So, do you know Chris Biggs? He has some interesting libraries and goes to the States in that area often. I've never met Chris Biggs. I know he has been to the Ohio Fish Rescue quite a few times, and I go up there as well. So he did a live stream and this week, and I talked to him briefly about CARES. And yeah, so I don't know. I could reach out to him and see if he's got anything that I can get from him, but I think he probably does mainly cichlids. I had to guess, but hey, Matt's here. So Matt, you missed earlier. I will be going to Ohio Fish Rescue Sunday morning. I would go up tomorrow if I had dog sitters, but I don't. So Sunday morning, my plan is to wake up early. I'll probably get up maybe 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, feed the dogs, let them out, and then drive up to OFR. And then I can probably stay till like 4-ish, we'll say, because it's like 2-hour drive. That would put me back home at 6, and the dogs will be fine for that amount of time. But yeah, so my plan is to go up Sunday morning, and I talked about it earlier in the live stream about trying to help out with feeding fish or making the fish food or whatever they need help with. Are you still planning to go up Saturday night? The other thing I can do, if you're going up Saturday night, I might be able to get, if they're not working, get my brother-in-law or my sister to swing by my house Saturday night, or not Saturday night, Sunday morning, and let my dogs out. And then I could come up Saturday night, stay the night, and then they can let the dogs out in the morning Sunday, and then I can still come back Sunday night. But shoot me a text message or whatever, let me know when you're going. Chewy said Jay Wilson did a live stream from OFR today. I did not know that. I know today is Josh's birthday, but I didn't know Jay was there. What was Jay up there for? Okay, Sean said try getting in contact with Andrew. He has a good amount of carefish and is a super good guy. Is always up to chat. Awesome. I need to write this stuff down. I guess I could always review the chat. Jay's giving a talk at the club. Like the Cleveland club? Like Neo, or like, is it the OCA have a club up there? feel like I might miss some chat. Should you say he lost all of his live bear stock and weather problems? Who did? Oh, Charles. Yeah, so was it Hurricane Harvey, I think, hit down there? As far as live bear, I think all he had listed were like feeder guppies. I think everything else is cichlids. But I've watched some videos of his farm online. He seems like a great guy. I talked to him. I mean, I want to do business with him. He doesn't have the fish that I'm looking for yet. But no, I want to do business with him. So I need to find other people like that. I bought some orange shrimp off a hobbyist here in Ohio, and they're doing good. I split the group. I think I bought like 10 of his orange shrimp plus like all the calls he had available. And I split them. I put the orange ones into a 20-gallon tank, and then I took all of his calls and I put them in that pond I built. So they're in there like eating on the plants, so they'll help with keeping all those plants clean and everything. I said I was going to put fish in there, and I just decided to put some shrimp. So I'm like, they breed out, then I'll have more shrimp and be a win-win. But I'm trying to work with local hobbyists. I'm talking to a couple people. One person has some plecos I want, but I think they're kind of set on the pricing being like high for me. Totally a fair price to purchase if I was trying to buy plecos for like my fish tank, but being that I'm trying to buy them for the business and then resell them, I can get. It's tough because I don't want to insult people, but when let's say a wholesale pleco costs $2 or $1.50, or even let's say $1. Let's say said pleco is $1, and you can buy them online retail for $5, right? And they're selling theirs for $4. It's a great deal. They're selling for $5 everywhere. You can buy one for $4. Well, I don't want to buy it for $4 and then try to sell it for $5, and take care of it while I'm trying to sell it. So I'm trying to find a happy medium. Like I can get it for $1. Like it's hobbyist bred, so it's going to be better quality than import. So I offered like $2. I'll give you $2 a pleco. But the thing is, I'm trying to buy 50 to 100 of them at a time. It's hard because I'm not trying to insult a hobbyist by saying it's only worth $2 to me. Like your fish is worth $4. Like don't get me wrong, it's worth it, but I can't pay that. I need to pay less because I have to have a profit margin. So it's tough. But this guy, his name's Jason. He breeds, I think, quite a bit of like live bears, possibly. I just saw his ad about shrimp, and I told him like, hey, like I run 614fish.com. I'm trying to find hobbyists, and so I bought his own shrimp to see basically what the quality's like, and they came in good. And so I have his name and his contact info. So once I'm ready to make a bigger order, or if he has a bigger order available, because that's the other thing. Like I had one person that wanted to sell me green dragon plecos, and they said they had like 40 of them. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like I want to buy them, and I need to work on price. How often can you resupply me with that? Are you getting like 40 a month? Are you getting 40 a week? Like, because I don't know how many breeding pairs they have. And they were just trying to get rid of them and then get rid of the plecos. They don't want to like do it long term. So I could do that. I could still buy the 40, sell them off, but then I have to find somebody else. So I'm trying to find like the best match of somebody that's like excited to breed them and then sell them, and they can do that every month and make money to pay for their hobby, and then I can find quality fish at a good price, and I can make money, and then I can buy their full clutch of eggs. They hatch out 100 plecos. I don't want them to have to worry about trying to sell off 100 of them or feed them till they grow up to sellable size. But I'm working on it. Let me scroll back up. Tom Patterson says, have LRB hook you up with some of the CCAC master breeders in Indy? Yeah, I need to talk to Lucas too. He goes live tonight, so maybe after his live stream, if I'm still awake, I probably will be since I'm drinking coffee. Maybe I'll call him and pick his brain about cares and who to talk to. Slow Pet says, oh wait, let me go back up. Don says that's really sad about Tracy. I'm Facebook friends with Big Rich, and he keeps giving updates. Yes, that's I mentioned it before. It's tough that they've had this string of unfortunate events recently with like their YouTube account getting hacked and not having access to it to upload videos, because the problem with YouTube is that they finally start making this money. They got this income coming in through the ads to help pay for the fish rescue. It helps offset all the costs of the utilities and the food bills and water bills, all that stuff. And they got this freight train rolling, and like hopefully it just keeps going faster and faster. The momentum builds, but then they get locked out of the account. So now they're not uploading videos, so that's going to hurt them in the algorithm. So that happened, and they still don't have that fixed. And they're trying everything they can, reaching out to whoever. But and then this Tracy thing, out of the blue, it's heartbreaking because they're good people, and I kind of fell into the OFR thing actually from Lucas Brett's. He was going up there for a YouTuber event and invited me along, and I showed up, and I was actually the first person there. I was told to be there at like 10 or 11. I think it was 11. And I was the first person there. I like walked in the house like, hey, like I'm Steven. I'm a YouTuber here for the event. And I mean, they didn't know who I was, but they were so welcoming. And I was there that weekend. So I stayed, I think it was a Saturday, Sunday, stayed Saturday night. And what really got me is like, I feel like I'm a pretty good judge of character. And they were so nice. Like they never met me before. And they were like, do you want something to eat? Do you want something to drink? And that was like the whole night. Like, are you thirsty? How Big Rich is. You'd be like, Tracy, get Steven a drink, And they were just so nice. And, I remember leaving Sunday, and I went up to Big Rich and I said, thank you for your hospitality. Like, it was awesome. And from then on, I was sold. Like, I'm a fan. They're doing great things here. Like, I knew who they were. I met Big Rich at Aquashella before I went to his house, and I knew what they were doing. But once I went there and saw, off camera how they are, it's an awesome family. So I'm doing as much as I can for them. I'm a moderator for them. Normally at this time on Friday nights, trying to help out. I built the stands for them, and whatever I can do, I'm trying to help them because they are good people. Let me see. Charles is a member of the ALA. what he lists and what he has are two different things. Yeah, so I mean, it's just with any breeder, what's listed is, not what you have. I'm the same way. I have, I think, like 6 more different species of fish that are actually, that aren't listed on my website right now, because I'm trying to get them healthy and growing. And one of the guppies, I don't know if it was the half black blues, or it might have been the green cobras. One of them were dropping fry this week, which is sweet. But I saw fry in the tank. Okay, let me scroll down. Select Pet says if you're into plecos, they're care plecos too. I like small plecos. I don't have the tanks for any of the big ones, unfortunately. If they're smaller species, then I would be down for that. The thing with I like plecos. The thing with plecos, though, it takes a long time to get them breeding, to get them, pump them full of food to where they're breeding size and age, and then, try to get them breeding. And not all plecos are easy to breed. Super reds and calicos and stuff like that, sure, bristle nose, but so I know some of the rarer ones are harder. I think it was Dean was struggling a little bit with the zebras. I don't know if somebody can chime in if he actually got them to breed or not. And Dean's a master breeder, so he's really good at what he does. Sean, that's funny that you say that. Honestly, the only green dragons I trust is the Greg Sage line. I've seen some marked as green dragons that look like common plecos. So I talked to Greg Sage early this week about getting some of his Mecha Splendens and also his green dragons. So I want to buy the Mecha Splendens like right now, but I also want his green dragons because they are fantastic. The problem is they're not available yet, and I watched his video from like last year saying that he was hoping to have them like ready in the fall or spring. I think it was maybe fall, and they're not listed yet. So I emailed him. Let me see what he said. Okay, so he emailed me back February 1st. And he said, thank you for the email. You're interested in the Mecha Splendens and the Green Dragons. He says that he has the Mecha Splendens available at the moment, but the Green Dragons are still a couple months off. To show where they are and how they're currently doing, he put out a YouTube video about a month ago. I saw that in his YouTube video that he said he would do a new YouTube video when they're ready to buy. So I asked him basically, if he had a timeline. Because if it's like going to be like a week or two, then I'll just wait a week or two and make a big order. But if it's going to be like a few months, then I'll just do separate orders. But he's saying it's still a couple months off. He says he's also looking at possibly selling them as smaller size than 2 to 3 inches, which I'm also okay with. But he said that probably won't occur until later this summer. He's saying that he could ship me the Mecha Splendens at this time, and if I happen to order the Green Dragons, they will most likely be shipped in a separate box anyways. So I believe his Mecha Splendens are, where are they? Group of 6. So I'm thinking about getting like 12 of them, like 2 groups. Let me see where I'm at on the chat. Look into transshippers that represent Asia. I had somebody reach out to me this week to the business Facebook page. That's I don't know if they're a breeder or just a shipper, exporter. And I don't know what country they were from, but they were basically trying to sell me fish and for me to import. But the thing is, I don't have an import license. I use a transshipper. So they were asking about, like, where's the transshipper at? And I was like, well, they're in LA. But the thing is, it's not a private transshipper. It's a wholesale company that also does transshipping. So the wholesaler, like I was checking that list earlier, they have a list of fish that they sell wholesale. And then they also have a transship list. But the transship list is from the farms, but it's in quantity. So like 200 fish of one kind. And they basically get shipped to them, they rebag it, and then ship it to me. So it's a transshipper. They're providing the service because they have an import license. But because it's this company that contacted me, there's no way for them to sell it direct to me. And I looked at getting an import license. That might be in the future, but the closest port of entry for live animals is Chicago. It's a 6-hour drive there. And with Chicago, it's like 6 hours there, but it always takes me like 8 hours to get back. Like, leaving Chicago sucks. And with import fish, like, I'd hate to drive 6 hours and then be like, your plane's delayed. It's going to be like another day. And then I'm stuck in Chicago for a day. Like, I don't really want to deal with that headache yet. It sucks because I have a port of entry 2 miles from my house. It's right next door to my work. But it's not a port of entry for live animals. It's a Port Columbus International Airport. If I was on the roof of my work, I could see the cargo facility across the road, basically, where I would pick up the fish if I was allowed to get them there, but I can't. They have to go to Chicago. Okay, Chewy's talking about his name's Klaus. Klaus? I don't know how you say that. He's in the Cares Facebook group. He'd be a good contact for you too. He's in charge of club memberships. He's from Canada, but is a good speaker as well. Oh, my chat just jumped. Tiffany said, I always enjoy the live streams and videos from OFR. I saw Big Rich and Tracy at Aquashell in Chicago. They seem like really genuine people. Yeah, they really are great people. I remember seeing them online, like on their videos before I met them, and it was always like, Big Rich yelling Tracy, and like man, like he yells at her a lot, but it's just them. It's their personalities. Like, Big Rich really does love her, and she loves him, and they're a great family. They really are. Rick is an amazing wealth of info. I've known him for over 20 years. We belong to two of the same clubs. And he knows in-depth info on tons of fish and clean care species. Chewy says Tracy has not looked very well for a while. I noticed that too. See, I don't know what caused all this. The last time I saw Tracy in person was when I dropped off the aquarium stand for the 500-gallon, the steel stand that I built. And to me, she looked the same from the time I saw her before and the time I saw her before. The thing with the heart, though, is it could be random. My family has on my mom's side, I don't know the name of it. It's a genetic heart defect, and my grandpa had it. My uncle had it. He died from it. My mom has it, but she's doing okay. But my cousin, who's a year older than me, I think she's a year older than me, she's on a heart transplant list. So it's just we're born with this defective. I forget like the technical term for it, but she's on a transplant list. She's been on it for I feel like a few years now, and you just never know when something's going to happen. And I had a heart thing 2 years ago in a week. So Valentine's Day 2 years ago, 2018, I had what they think is a SVT, where my heart misfired and raced out of control. It was over 200 beats a minute at rest. I was just sitting there, and it was over 200 beats. And I took an ambulance ride to the hospital, and in the ambulance, they administered a drug through the IV that basically stopped my heart. And it stopped for, I think it's like 2 or 3 seconds, and then it restarts. And that's supposed to put it back in rhythm. And it didn't work, so they tried it again. And let me tell you, the drug that stops your heart, it hurts really bad. It actually, the way I can describe it is it hurts your back. It's like, you have all this pressure on your chest, but it's really your back that hurts. And that didn't work, so they end up using, I call it the paddles, but it's not paddles like you see on TV. It's like these sticker pads. It's like this big sticky pad. They put one here, and they put the other one on your side, and then that's how they shock you. And they ended up shocking me in the ambulance, and that's what got my heart back into like correct rhythm. And they did that in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. And once I got into the ER, I was fine. I was out of it. I was loopy, so I don't know if they gave me like a sedative in the ambulance or what. But once I was in the ER, I was okay, but I was out of it. And then I went home a few hours later. AED, yeah, that's basically what it was. Like an AED that we have at work, in the case that you break the glass and pull it out. That's basically what it was. But yeah, that was kind of traumatizing. That gave me severe anxiety that I have to basically deal with every day now. I've always had like a little bit of anxiety, but nothing that like ruined my day. And then after that happened, I went off the deep end as far as anxiety. Anytime I felt like a little anything, like I remember like days later, I was laying in bed and like a blanket was laying on me wrong to where I had like a little extra pressure, full on panic attack, thought I was dying. And that went on for like daily panic attacks for like a month. And then finally, like I worked through it, and I'm on anxiety meds now, but I just deal with it every day. But I'm getting sidetracked here. So with Tracy, I don't know what happened. I know her heart stopped and she stopped breathing, but like, was she doing something, or did it just stop on her? Chevy Fish says our club picnic is at his house at Chewy. Chewy says he stepped down as Federation of Aquarium Club president. So we lost our club president this year. I guess really this past year, since it's 2020 now. Paul was an awesome guy. He was one of the first guys I met when I got into the club, the local club. Super fantastic guy. Just became basically too much for him, and the politics that was going on behind the scenes wasn't fair to him, and he stepped down. And that makes me really sad because he was a great guy. We have Kristen, I think, now, and we'll see. I gotta go this month's club meeting and see how things are going, and hopefully everything works out this year and smooths out. And I think we have a swap meet coming, and also a auction coming. I went to the swap meet last year. I'm thinking about doing it this year for the company. You buy a table and you sell wherever you want to sell. The only thing I didn't like was last year. It's we have our club meeting at a local bowling alley. They have like a presentation room that they allow us to use. And the last year, it was pretty packed. Like the aisles between the tables were really tight, and it was hard to like maneuver around through all the tables. So I kind of wish they had a bigger venue for the swap meet. Yeah, just because it was tight to go through everything. But I thought about getting a table and then taking like supplies, mag floats, wonder shells, heaters, and see if I could sell any. I think that'd be fun because I would love to own a retail store one day, but with fish stores and stuff like that, like the failure rate's really high for starting a new one in this day and age. So that's why I really want to get the e-commerce going and get that as like the foundation. And then hopefully, my dream one day is to have that take off to where I could open a retail store, because that's what I want to do. Chewy says Mike Helwig out of St. Louis is the director for libraries. Generally speaking, though. Sean says, at Chewy, Dan Slee told me about it, and I'm fascinated by them since they are from Indonesia. But cool thing, it's a shell dweller goby. I'm going to look that up. Okay, the very first picture that pops up, it's the black and white one. Looks amazing. Found in Lake Matano, if I said that right. Species can reach a length of 4.3 centimeters. So is this a Charis fish as well? Who posted that? Sean. Sean, is that Charis species? So yeah, it is the black and white one. It looks awesome. The only goby I ever had was a saltwater goby. I've never had a freshwater one. I think that's kind of cool. It's a shell dweller. Can you keep them in groups, or are they like territorial? Speaking of swap, either this or next GCCA swap I need to go to. Not looking forward to the drive again. How far are you from the GCCA swap? Because I'm planning to go to. I need my phone. They have a speaker coming to talk about. Oh my gosh, I forget everything. It's their speaker this month. I'm planning to drive down there. It also is like a 2-hour drive for me. But I've been there before, and I really like the GCCA. Creator. Oh wait, no. I'm not thinking of GCCA. I'm thinking of GCAS. Sorry. Chewy said bumblebee gobies are also nice. So GCAS in Cincinnati. So if you're in Kentucky, it's not that far. Well, I guess depending on where in Kentucky you are. GCAS has a speaker. Let me see if I can find it. February 23rd is their club meeting, and they're having a speaker, Jim Cumming. He is doing a presentation on sending cichlids to summer camp. And it caught my eye because I was like, sending him to summer camp. And the title, there's a picture. It says "Keeping Cichlids in Northern Ponds." So I'm all about like ponds now. Like I really want like a ton of ponds in my backyard. And I think he's from Canada. Okay, yeah, so he's in Canada, and apparently he's keeping cichlids in ponds outdoors. So that really, piqued my interest. I'm not really interested in cichlids, but I want to know how he's keeping fish in ponds in Canada over winter, because I could do it here with a pond heater. I could do above ground pond, insulate it, throw a 2,000-watt heater in it. But I want to know, is somebody doing something different that's more um, cost effective or energy efficient? So I'm all about that kind of stuff. Like I said, I love tinkering, so I'm gonna go catch his talk and see what he says. And I think if you have the ability to go see a speaker at a club meeting, go do it. It's free knowledge. They're always, at least all the clubs in Ohio, they're always open to the public. They're not private. So if you are not a member of a club, but you see somebody speaking, you can still go and watch them. So I'm going to try to do that. That's February 23rd. And then there's also Lucas, I think, is the following Friday. And I'll probably get with him and see if he has plans of like dinner or anything beforehand, or I don't know if he's going to stay the night. And then I'm assuming he's probably grabbing a hotel and then driving back in the morning. Maybe we'll do breakfast or something. I don't know. Usually he tries to do stuff in the city he goes to, like fish room tours and stuff like that. So I need to reach out to him and see if he wants to hang out or not. I'm sure he's got a lot planned already. Last time was 11-hour drive. It was raining and snowing the entire drive. 11 hours. That's miserable. I'm sorry. 8 hours from Chicago home for me is miserable. So 11. Nope. 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 Did I say nope? Yeah, no. I'm good on 11 hours. I'm still debating on Aquashella Dallas. Definitely would fly. I would not drive, but I'm still debating on if I want to go to that. So it looks like Sean and Select Pet are in Kentucky. Chewy says Cummings has some very beautiful Madagascar cichlids. Yeah, so I'm planning on driving down to Cincinnati and check out his talk. Sean said it would have only been 8-ish hours, but the storm slowed down the drive. I think the worst I had was one spring or summer, whenever tornado season is. I was coming back through Indiana, and there was tornadoes, and it was dark. It was raining terribly. Couldn't see anything on the freeway, and there was like on your cell phone, you get like the Amber Alert. Well, I have like the weather alerts, and it's like tornado warning. When I left Chicago and I crossed into Indiana, it popped up like a tornado watch. But once it was actually down by Indianapolis, was when I got the tornado warnings. And it was extremely windy on the freeway. I didn't see a tornado, but it was also dark. So I don't know if a tornado actually was near me, but it was, weather was shitty, to say the least. Slepet says, if you go to the Cincy talk, I know some guys that will probably be there that have. Oh, chat just moved. Where'd it go? If you go to the Cincy talk, I know some guys that will probably be there that have inbreed Goodeids. That would be awesome. I might just make a post on their Facebook group page the week of, and I got to figure out tanks. I have technically one open tank right now for fish. Everything else has import fish in it. I had 2 tanks, but one has orange shrimp in it. I have the ability to add 10 more tanks right now. I just don't want to spend the money on 10 tanks. I need to, but I'm kind of also waiting to see if there's any tanks I can salvage from rack system 2 and bring over to the 3rd system before I buy a bunch more tanks. But it would only be 20 longs that I can salvage. The middle rack of 3 is 29s, so I can't even fit those in. Now that I think about it, I have a pond in there now, so I can't fit any more pond or any more 29s. I have a pond, but I need to get rack system 2 torn down and rack system 1, and then I can redo all of that and decide what I'm going to do. I think I want to do more ponds. I think I want to do like part of the rack that 5-foot long pond I built. I think I want to do at least 3, maybe 4 5-foot ponds stacked up. I think I can make it work. Sean said, I think we'll do what Amber did next, $1 a gallon, placing a special order and renting a U-Haul. Yes, so I can fit, I think, 620 longs left on my rack 3. And then when I redo the other half of the room, when I get rid of rack 1 and 2, I'll be able to fit 11 20 longs. And then I can do 20 29s, or I can do like ponds in a mixture. So I might do like 10 29s and then like 5 of the ponds. I really want to do the ponds because it's cheap. It's like 80. Oh crap! If I had my phone, I texted Lucas. It's like 80 cents a gallon is what it came out to be. It was $35 for the pond liner, $25 for the wood, and like $5 in screws, which I just overestimated that. I think it was like $10 for a box of screws. And I really didn't even use half of it. Like there's a lot of screws, but not really. Yeah, it was like 80 cents, I think, a gallon. Oh, Sand Creek is here. Man, I'm late. Better late than never, right? We've been going. It's going to be a 2-hour live stream tonight. I don't know if I've ever done a 2-hour live stream. I definitely like live streaming earlier. I know this is normally Ohio Fish Rescue's time, so I want them to obviously get their time slot back. I'm just kind of taking it up why they are not available to stream right now. But I think I need to find a night that I can do it earlier, mainly because I was originally scheduled to go live after LRB, but with work, work is going crazy right now with my 40 hours a week job, 8 to 5, working on cars, and then I come home and I'm doing water changes and feeding fish and doing all that stuff. I'm just so tired that I'm usually in bed. Like even LRB's chats, I used to be really active and like dropping super chats and all that stuff, but lately I'm asleep by the time he even goes live. I think last week I was awake for the first 5 or 10 minutes of his live stream, and then I passed out. Yeah, I'm usually in bed, which I mean it's a good thing. It means I'm busy, but I used to be up till 1 in the morning every night of the week, even on a work night. But now last night I fell asleep. So don't tell anybody, but I skipped water change last night because I got home from work and my goal was I normally get home, do my water changes, and then eat dinner. I ate dinner first, and then I sat down on the couch and was playing with the dogs, and I fell asleep on the couch last night. And it really screwed me up because I fell asleep. I mean, it was, I don't know, 6 p.m. or something, and I slept until like 9:30. and I don't do naps. Like if I sleep, I'm screwed because I sleep too long for a nap, and then I'm up the rest of the night. So I woke up, I was like, crap, like I didn't mean to fall asleep. All the lights had auto turned off by that time, so I'm like, all right, I'm not doing the water changes tonight. And I went to bed and I just kind of lay there, played on my phone for a while, and couldn't fall asleep. But yeah, so I made up for it tonight. I did the water changes as soon as I got home. Well, as soon as I got the orders done, I get home, I do the orders, and then make sure they're at the post office by 6, and then I do the water changes. GRB says your pond build was awesome video. So that was, thank you, first of all, thank you for that. I wanted to build it, and I mean, honestly, I rushed it. Everything's fine. Technically, it could have been better. I could have used my table saw and made all the joints nice and perfect. I did it all just putting a pencil or pen mark down and freehanding it with a circular saw. But so it wasn't like perfect. Like the box itself won't hold water, but using the pond liner, it was fine. I could have cleaned up, like if I was worried about it, like aesthetically looking nice, I would trim the pond liner, make like a real nice edge where it overflaps the edge. But honestly, I just needed a pond to hold water so I can put plants in it, and it worked. And yeah, so the next one I'll build, I'll make it nicer. I'll put more time and effort into it. But that was I think I filmed that last weekend, the weekend before last weekend. I think I filmed that last weekend, and it started snowing. It was nice out. Well, I don't want to say it was nice. It wasn't like sunny or anything, but it was like 45, 50 degrees. I was like, all right, I'm going to build this today. Like, let's get this done. I'll record it. And I went to the store, got the wood, came back, and temperature was dropping. My hands were so cold, and I got carpal tunnel going on, like the start of it. My hands go numb each night, and I wear the wrist brace to keep my hands straight. So if I don't wear that, I wake up in the middle of the night with my hands numb and hurting. But I've been working on cars since I was growing up. I would say officially since I was like 16, but even before then, I would help my dad with oil changes and maintenance on the family vehicles, and with the farm equipment and all that stuff. So I've been working on cars a long time, but I was also really big into computers. I went to college. I have a computer IT degree. I was always good at computers. So, the repetitiveness with being on a keyboard and then working on cars has not treated my wrist very well. And I'm eventually I'll have to get surgery. But anyways, side rant, ADD. While I was working on the wood, it was getting colder and colder, and I think I went inside when it was like 25 degrees. My hands were just hurting from the cold and everything. So I was like, all right, I gotta take this inside, and it started snowing. So I wrapped it up, took it inside, and that's when I did the pond liner. And at that point, I just wanted to be done because I knew I had the plants coming, so I wanted the extra water space. So I got it done, and it works. I want to drill it and put a bulkhead into it to do an overflow, so that way I can auto change water from the tanks into the pond. And that I did a water test on it. It's got no ammonia, but it's running nitrite and nitrate. So that means the import tanks are still cycling. At least whatever tank I need to measure each tank again to see which tank it is. One of the tanks, if not more, are not done cycling yet. But they water change every day except for the ones where I fall asleep. But yeah, so nitrite and nitrate. So those plants are getting fed all that, and then when I change water, I change that out. With that new Nilo CG light, if I end up using it, I'm going to pump a ton of fertilizer into it. But I'm down to try it out. Select Pet says do Saturdays. People off work on weekends, so I could totally do Saturdays. I work like one Saturday a month, so I could schedule it. I only work till 2 though, so it's kind of nice. So if I have to work Saturday, it's like 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. So I could schedule it for after 2 p.m. Maybe that would be a good time. But I definitely want to do it more so during the day versus late at night. The only thing like that I don't want to necessarily do it like at 2 or 3 o'clock is that it's like so smack in the middle of the day. I'm usually really busy on the weekends, whether or not like I go OFR or if I'm doing things around the house or I'm at my friend's house. I don't want to be like tied down per se to a specific time. I want to be more consistent on my times. So that's why like Friday night, I'm usually always home Friday night, but maybe I'd find a night during the week. I don't know if I need to look at, Brandon's got a good list on the Fish Tubers notification page on Facebook. I need to see if there's any times during the week that are open that aren't super late. Because then I know I'll be home for sure during the week. But weekends are iffy. Like I never know what I'm doing. Like once summer comes, I don't know if I'll be out with my coworkers, have 4-wheelers and we go riding, or if we go camping or anything like that. Let's see. Sand Creek Aquatics. Been remodeling my kitchen all day. That could be bad and fun. Cool thing about remodeling is once you get to a certain point, you start seeing the new progress and like the new look, and it's like rewarding. But depending on what you're doing, it could be a ton of work. Sean says at Terry's Tropical Tanks, I'm near Tradewater River. I think that is what it's called. Tom Patterson, yeah, but they won't do a special order for me. I tried it. Manager refused to because they're only 45 minutes away from Petco and from me, and Petco's 3 hours away. Their loss. I think if I were to do, so I see you talking about 30/20s, 20/10s, 5/40s. I really would love to do all 40s. I did the rack 2. Well, I guess rack 1 and 2 both have 10 gallons. Just not. I'm going to sell all my 10 gallons. I don't see me using 10 gallons anymore. I think the minimum will be a 20. I really like 20 longs. I like the service area. I like the 29 capacity, but I think 40 breeder would be the best all around. Tom Patterson says had carpal tunnel surgery in October, still off work. See, I don't like hearing that, Tom. So being a mechanic, like if I'm off work, I'm not making money, and I have to have my hands to work. So I don't really know a profession where maybe you don't need your hands as much. Maybe if you're like working retail to where like I don't know, like you could have your wrist in like stents or something, and you could still talk to people to sell stuff. But like me, I had to actually like put a lot of force on my wrist with like working. So and the movement with working on cars, I mean, it's crazy. Every time you turn a wrench or try to pull a wrench, like there's a lot of movement going on. So I can't really afford to be out of work. That's why I haven't even looked into surgery, because I didn't know if it was like a 2-week process or like a month, but even 2 weeks, like I don't even think I could swing 2 weeks. I mean, I could take 2 weeks vacation and try to do it all and, try to get back to work after that, but I don't know what recovery time will be. I just got a message. Awesome. John sent me a message. I appreciate the message about the good yids. I would look into Bill. See if I can find him on Facebook and see what he's got. But yeah, I'm really interested in getting good yids. Sean's got to go cook and get ready for work. I'll see you all later. Sean, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. We are 4 minutes away from 2 hours, and then I will call it quits, which I'm surprised we're going for 2 hours right now. That's kind of awesome. Let's see here. Teresa, the only thing that could make that worse is being a drummer. Yeah. And Tom says I play drums too. Teresa says I know drummers that lost their gigs to carpal tunnel, and I don't know what that word is. Normally I'd be asleep right now. Insomnia acting up since I work third shift. Oh, that'd be tough working third shift. Tom said factory worker for 25 years didn't help. Chewy said most of my career-ending injuries were caused by drunk driver. That's terrible to hear, Chewy. But I mean, I guess it could have been worse. You're still with us, so that's good. Sean says the 10s I like for fry, and I mainly keep shell dwellers, so the 10s would work for fry QT. Sean, I didn't know you had shell dwellers, so I'm also interested in getting shell dwellers. So I need to talk to you about getting some if you have any available. Tom says my hand is worse now than before. Okay, so I don't like that, Tom. Talking about I need carpal tunnel surgery, and now you're saying you're still down since October and your hand's worse than before. That's not good. Is that like a complication of like a bad surgery? Like, what's the details on that? Because that makes me worried. So the 10s, so you said with like Fragger out, that was kind of the original plan I had with Rack 2 was the top was going to be Fry. It's that flow through. I've decided to ditch the flow through because it's nice and bad at the same time. So it's nice that it's easy to wire change. I have the sump plumbed to the drain sump, so I can just open a valve and it drains off water really quickly, actually, and then I can fill it back up. The problem is I had an algae bloom, and it takes over the whole system. So every single tank's got an algae bloom in it, and finally got rid of it, and then it came back like a week later. Slepet says Bill has a Facebook. Hit him up. He may have some available. Sounds good. Toyota truck. Sand Creek Aquatics. He must be talking to somebody else. Oh, wait. Are you talking about, like, you have a Toyota truck and you need help with it? Got a link or how I can contact you? You can email me at sales@614fish.com. I honestly don't know really anything about Toyota trucks, but, with this profession, I know, like, how engines work and stuff like that. I'm 13 years working on German cars, 10 years for BMW, and 3 years now for Audi. But I also know like quite a bit about like Hondas, like older Hondas. I grew up, driving a bunch of Hondas. I actually currently have a 96 Civic. I'm kind of like project building out in the garage. But my side note, my daily driver, I have a pickup truck, a GMC Sierra. It's a newer one. GRB, like majority of back surgeries, always need revisiting. 9% back surgery are considered failures because of this. Yeah, I hope I never have to have back surgery. I mean, I don't even want to have wrist surgery, but I would assume it's like pretty like non-invasive now. But I need to do the research, but I'm not really interested in it right now. I'm put up with the pain. I bought the wrist splint thing. I originally had like a compression brace, and like I was wearing it during the day, and it kind of helped, but it was just like a compression brace. I bought one that's specifically for carpal tunnel. It's got like a splint that goes down and it like curves into your palm, and like you can't move your hand. I bought just one off Amazon. It had like super awesome reviews, and it works. It's compression like around. It's like neoprene type material, and putting on just the compression felt good. Like it felt good, but like not waking up multiple times a night to my like hand hurting was nice. But I need to buy one for my left hand because my left hand does it too. Tom says they told me 4 weeks recovery. Now that I have issues, doctor said up to 6 months. I have trigger finger, now pain in hand. So like if you do this, you have pain. See, I thought they just go in and open up the carpal tunnel, because isn't it like, I don't want to say it collapses, but doesn't it puts I can't talk, puts pressure on your nerve. Depends on the back's injury. Sometimes you have the choice of being in a wheelchair or suffering from pain. That nope. Wait, Chew, you're talking about the injury. Are you in a wheelchair? Jerry says those compression bandage things are excellent, even magnetic ones. The one I had like the copper in it. I don't know if that does anything. I think that's just to inhibit like odors or whatever, like from wearing like you're sweating into like a sweatband. Um, the first one was just like a compression one. It was a sleeve, and it helped. Like it helped a little bit, but you had still full range of motion. The one I recently bought like a week or two ago, it has like a Velcro strap, so you can really compression it, and then it's got like I think it's just a plastic rod that goes up and it curves into your palm. But that thing's amazing. So the compression, like from pulling the Velcro tight, feels really good. But walking my hand straight, and at first it feels like bulky. And I thought like it'd be too weird to sleep with, but it's like the exact opposite, because I'm no longer waking up with my hand in pain. And like the pain, with that nerve, sometimes it'll go up to my elbow, and I sleep like a rock because of that, because I'm not in pain. Like it could be bulky, and I sleep on my stomach, and so usually like my arms under my pillow. Doesn't bother me at all. So I need to buy the left hand one, because now this hand will wake me up. But yeah, it just really sucks. I remember my first day at my professional job, so at BMW. I think I was, how old was I when I started with BMW? 18 or 19? It was right after college. I think I graduated college when I was 19. I did like the accelerated course where like you have no breaks, no summer break, no winter break. You just go to school every single day, so that way you get your degree quicker. So I think I graduated. It was kind of crazy. I graduated high school, I think 2005, then I graduated college like 2006. Like high school was spring 2005, and I graduated college like fall of '06. But like on paper, it's like, it only seems like a year. It was like a year and a half for the accelerated class. Well, anyways, I graduated college and I needed a job to pay off my student loans, and I couldn't find an IT job. And there was a mechanic, technician job at BMW, and I knew some people who worked there, and I was always good working on cars, and my friends knew it, so they got my foot in the door. And um, I didn't plan on being, a mechanic for the rest of my life, but unfortunately, in that trade, starting off when I was 19, you're making X amount of money. Well, you only go up from there, especially with like experience and the knowledge base that every year I was making more money and more money. And then it got to the point where I was making, X amount of money to where I'm like, I can't go get a job somewhere else and make this kind of money. So I kind of got stuck in it. And, knock on wood, I've been doing this 13 years, and every year I've made more money than the last year. I mean, eventually that will plateau, and then, with mechanic, you can have years where you make a lot less. Depends on, if the work's there, but knock on wood, every year I've worked, made more and more money than the year before. And, but anyways, my first day at BMW, one of the old timers came up to me, and I remember it as if it was yesterday. And he pulled me aside and he said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" He said, "It will destroy your body." And I was so gung ho. I was like, "Yeah, I'm working for BMW. Like, $100,000 cars are sick, you know." And I was driving a Honda Civic or something at the time, so like it was awesome. I was excited. And after a year, the excitement kind of went away, and it was like, oh, it's just another job. And then, 13 years later, I'm like, man, the old timer was smart. He told me that it would start destroying your body, and I would never expected to have carpal tunnel issues at, I've had them for a year now, so I was, I don't know, 32, and back problems. But back problems are, anybody can have back issues. You pull a muscle lifting a wheel wrong. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's just the older you get, the easier it is to have the issues. But I've always had um, back problems working on cars. Let me see. Tom says pinky swollen tendon locks up in tunnel. Oh man. Chewy says I kept myself going for 20 years. I got misdiagnosed from the first place. I had a knee injury from hockey due to spinal pressure of partial tears in my sciatic nerve. That was the option I had. That's not good. Tom said I didn't have any issues with my pinky prior to surgery. So Select Pet said there's a popular shell dweller contact in Ohio called Sand City Aquatics. So I think Sand City was in here. Oh wait, no, that was Sand Creek. I'll have to look up Sand City. I need to make sure I favorite this stream because there's a lot of good info in here. I need to make sure I go back through this. Chewy says now with the hip, the knee, the feet, and the back, I literally have to crawl to the bathroom while I wait for a wheelchair through disability. I had to give up keeping fish 2 years ago. Chewy, that sounds terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. Chewy's kept fish on and off for over 50 years. You, sir, are a bank of knowledge, so thank you for being here. I don't want to offend anybody. It always kind of surprises me. Now, Grant, you said for over 50 years, so I'm assuming, let's say you're 60. I don't know, at least 60 years old. When you say you've been keeping them for over 50, I'm going to guess that you're at least 60. It always like kind of surprises me. Like majority of the fish hobby is, when I say older than me. Every time I go to a club meeting, I'm typically the youngest person in the club at the meeting. There's a couple guys around my age, but majority of them are older people. And I guess it kind of surprises me sometimes when I think about, like, there are some older people that subscribe to me, which is great, because I love learning, like, pulling knowledge from everybody. And when I see the older people at the club meetings, I guess I don't picture them sitting on YouTube and stuff. So it's really awesome seeing that. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but I can appreciate that people are on like YouTube following people and in the chats and stuff like that. Okay, so you're 63, so yeah, I'm glad I didn't say like, oh, you're 80. So I know a lot of people start when they're kids. I always had fish when I was kids. I don't, when I was a kid, but I wasn't a fish keeper by any means. I look back at my tanks and I think, man, I was a terrible person. I remember having like a gallon bowl with guppies in it, like, and nothing else. It was just guppies. There was no plants. I don't think there was a substrate. Like, it was terrible. And then that was early 90s. I don't think we ever had like a betta or anything like that. I remember having a goldfish in a 1 gallon bowl, but knowing now what I know, I mean, I look back and I'm like, oh my god, I was so bad. And then I never had live plants until a couple of years ago. I didn't even know it was a thing, honestly, until a couple of years ago. It was YouTube that actually got me into it. I think live plants was actually Lucas that got me into that. What got me back into the hobby was a video. I don't know the channel, but I saw the sand waterfall that you can do with like a lift tube, and that's what got me back into it, because I said, I want to build that. I was like, that looks awesome. I want to build a sand waterfall. And so when I was searching for like sand waterfall, it popped up Joey's channel, and I saw his wooden aquarium, and that blew my mind that you could have a wood aquarium. And that led me to Flip Aquatics. That got me into shrimp. Aquarium Co-op got me into starting my own business. Serpent Design is another channel that I absolutely love watching. I think his videos come out like Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings, and I love having my cup of coffee and watching his videos. And then somehow I got to Lucas's channel, and that got me into plants. Terry's Tropical Tank says, I got my first fish in 1974. Well, Terry's Tropical Tanks, I was not alive. So I'm a Top Gun baby. I was born in 86. 33 years old. GRB has had hip back issues for years. Has ruled my journey in the hobby. Stopped me from keeping fish soon in coming years, trying to document my 40-year fish keeping when I can. GRB, that's a good thing though, like documenting and passing on the knowledge. Like, a lot of us appreciate it. And I feel like I was about to go on to a subject there. Oh, so when I was talking earlier in the stream about my heart thing, that's what basically jump started my fish hobby. Was my anxiety. I was afraid to do things. I was afraid to do anything that would get my heart racing, and I was stressed out, and I would watch YouTube videos on some of these aquariums, and I was like, man, like, because I had an aquarium, it wasn't planted. It's my 75 gallons out in the fish room, out in the family room. It's got the two goldfish and the kissing gourami in it now. It used to be cichlids. Um, I built a concrete foam sand waterfall and had fake plants and stuff in it. And then after the heart thing, that's when I started like finding YouTube channels and plants and stuff like that. And that's what really jump started my hobby. And it was the fish room. The fish room. I wanted a fish room. I wanted to build like the plumbing and the automatic part of it. Like I wanted to build something. It's like Legos for adults is kind of like how I looked at it, and that's what got me into it. Was health issues. It was a something to take up my time, keep my mind off of issues, and something I can enjoy. I learned a lot in the last couple of years. I'm still learning. I mean, I release my videos, making a fool of myself, shocking fish and killing them with the import order. But lesson learned, and hopefully, I have many years to come of improving on what I'm doing. So Chewy said, I try to educate those at GRB, but it's my turn to learn about native fish that I could not keep. I am a former director of the Calgary Aquarium Society. Chewy said, the first ever orca kept in public aquarium got me into the hobby. I remember going to like SeaWorld and stuff. There used to be a SeaWorld here in Ohio up by Cleveland. I remember doing that as a kid, but like I would always love going to the aquarium. Fortunate for me, Columbus has a zoo. It's called the Columbus Zoo. I think it's the second largest in the country. Um, I want to say it's like San Diego's maybe the largest, but it's massive and it's an awesome zoo. They do a lot there, and I would remember going to like the zoo when I was a kid and going to the aquarium there, and just being in awe of all the fish and stuff. But I should go and make a video there. This would be a good time of the year because the aquarium's indoor, and the weather sucks, but um, they have penguins and all sorts of stuff there. So maybe this spring, not during spring break because that's when the zoo's like packed. I need to take like a random day off during the week when everybody's in school and go there and record and do a video because they do a lot of nice stuff there. All their exhibits are fantastic. And I haven't been to the zoo in a while. I went, oh gosh, maybe 7 years ago, like during the summer, and actually like did the whole zoo. And then since then, like 2 years ago, they do what's called the wild lights. They do like millions of Christmas lights, and so I went there with my girlfriend at the time and her daughter, and we like walked the zoo, and you just go for like Christmas lights. And like the polar bear exhibit was open, so we went and watched the polar bear swimming and stuff like that. But Chewy says the first ever orca was kept in the Vancouver Aquarium in 1964. I was able to get the television news report of it back then. Okay, so Terry's Tropical. Have you ever been to the Shed in Chicago? I have not. I've been to Chicago. Let's guesstimate maybe 30 times. So when I worked for BMW, their training facility for the central region, which is the region I'm in, their training facility is in a suburb of Chicago. It's up in Buffalo, or not Buffalo Grove. It's in Schaumburg, really nice suburb. It's like far northwest suburb. Um, Went there a ton of times for school because you do training. You have training every single year. Like new vehicles come out, new technologies, stuff like that. You have to go get certified. And training's like it could be a 1 day class, it could be a 2 day, up to like a 5 day class. And so I did that for many years. Never went to the shed aquarium. And back then I wasn't really into aquariums or the hobby. So I joined Audi, and their training facility was actually local. And once I started, I was excited that I wouldn't have to go to Chicago anymore. And it turns out that their local training facility was shut down like years ago. And their current training facility is also in a suburb of Chicago. It's in Buffalo Grove, which is up by Schaumburg. It's the north end of Chicago. I think I've been up there maybe 6 times, I think, for Audi. But the next time I go, which is in March, next month? Is that next month already? Is it in March I go? I go for like 2 classes and they're back to back. They're just 2 days a piece. I think it's like a Tuesday through Friday class. I fly for Audi, which BMW, our company, made us drive to Chicago with Audi. My company allows you to drive or to fly. If I fly, I still get a rental car. So I will probably make that a to-do. If I drive, I can leave Monday early and hit the aquarium up on a Monday if they're open. And I know OFR has a contact at the shed to get you like behind the scenes type deals. And don't go to the shed saying you know OFR, because I don't know if that's how it works or if you have to be like a personal friend. But I know Big Rich or Josh would definitely hook me up with some extras. So it would be something I'd never been there, so I would love to check it out. And if I could see some behind the scenes things, I'm more, I love the displays, but I'm also interested in like how things actually run. I want to see like the filtration setup and like how do they heat the water, how do they do water changes, and how do they do medications or whatever. Like I'm interested in like behind the scenes. And speaking about that, aquarium co-op with Corey, he's got his channel. I love watching his videos. I'm a big fan of Corey and what he's done and everything he's doing. He was my motivation to do the e-commerce company and everything. But he had like the second channel, and now it's like a business channel. I forget what it's called, Visions, or I forget. But anyways, that's my favorite part, is like when he did his warehouse tour of his new warehouse. I watched that video like 3 times, and I think he says like they typically don't do well for his channel as far as like views, because it's not really talking about fish and stuff. It's just like showing like his shipping station and how they store their plants and their dry goods. I love that. That's like my passion. Like I was watching how he was showing they use their totes to pick stuff. With me, my orders are so small. Most of my inventory is in this room. There's a wall over here with everything, and I've done a video on it before, but I'm at the point where I'm running out of room because I'm trying to bring on more products and stuff like that. So I'm actually starting to move stuff into the other bedroom. This is like the third bedroom. I converted it into this office. Well, now I'm taking over the second bedroom, which is not good. I wish I had a basement, but I would love to eventually take off to where I can rent a flex space, so it's like an office and a warehouse, and grow the e-commerce to where that warehouse is doing all the orders, and then eventually turn the office into a retail space. That would be my goal, or my dream. But I just love the behind the scenes stuff. So if I can check out the shed and see behind the scenes, it'd be fantastic. Chewy says we cannot keep native fish in most of the provinces. Jerry says, I have not heard of the shed for years. Tom says, check out the abandoned SeaWorld in Ohio video on YouTube. Actually, I think I did see that video. It was like a guy that, like, I don't want to say hopped the fence, but like went through the buildings and stuff, and they found like a shark in one of the tanks, but I think it was just like a decoration or whatever. But yeah, I saw that video. Terry says, I've been behind the scenes and ain't easy to get access. Biggest protein skimmer I ever saw. So I believe with the OFR hookup that I have now, I should be able to get behind the scenes. The only thing is I don't know if I would be able to get behind the scenes without OFR being there. I will have to talk to Big Rich or Josh about that. But I need to try playing that when I'm in Chicago next month. That'd be awesome. I would go up a day early. Normally I would leave. If I fly, I usually work a full day Monday and then get a flight, in the PM after work and get up there, get a rental car, go to the hotel. But if I drive, I would leave in the morning. So I could drive and hit the shed on the way up. Be kind of cool. I need to plan that out for sure. I've even tried to plan the Greater Chicago Cichlid Association, maybe? Is it GCCA? They do their big swap meet type deal, and I try to get a school date like around that to try to like go there while I was up there for school. But yeah, Terry said yes, GCCA. But yeah, I typically when I go up there for school, I go to class, get out of class, I find somewhere to eat. I try to do food that's specific to the Chicagoland, Portillo's, stuff like that. Lou Malinotti's, and I forget the other, like there's a couple pizza places, stuff that is not local to me. I try to do there, and then I usually go back to the hotel and hang out. And sometimes we get like homework. Then the class is too packed for the amount of time. The instructors will have us do part of like the workbook for the training and stuff. But I usually don't go out, because when I'm up there by myself, you don't know anybody, you don't know what to do. And honestly, I don't want to try like end up in some shitty part of Chicago where, there's questionable characters out. So I usually just stick to the hotel. But the Shed Aquarium, that's a good idea. I will try to do that. But all right, guys, we are coming up now on 2.5 hours. LRB should be going live here any minute, I would assume. He might be already live for all I know. But anyways, go check out LRB's live stream tonight or right now if it's on. Thank you, everybody. We have 15 people still hanging out with me, which is crazy. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight for 2.5 hours. That blows my mind. That's awesome. Like, honestly, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for the support, as always. Everybody in the chat, you know who you are. Thank you guys. Try to keep Tracy in your thoughts, and hopefully she has a speedy recovery, and we will see her back on the OFR channel as soon as possible. And until next time, I'll try to, if next Friday is open, maybe I'll try to come back next Friday. But thank you guys, as always. As OFR would say, stay fishy, my friends. See you guys.